For those who grew up without affection, what did you consider intimate? My dad thought showing love made boys weak. Toughen up was basically his favorite phrase. Mom wasn't mean or anything, but she worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. She'd come home exhausted, eat dinner standing up at the kitchen counter, then collapse on the couch. There wasn't much left for hugs or bedtime stories. I went through high school feeling like everything was wrapped in plastic. Nothing really touched me. Other kids talked about their families going to movies or their parents helping with homework, and it sounded like they were describing life on another planet. Then I turned 16 and needed a haircut for some school thing. Mom gave me 20 bucks and told me to figure it out myself. I walked into this barbershop downtown, nervous as hell because I'd never been anywhere like that alone. The barber was this older guy named Frank. First thing he did was wrap the cape around my shoulders, and when he adjusted it, his hands were so gentle, like he actually cared about not making me uncomfortable. Then he tilted my head to get the angle right for cutting, and that touch was firm but careful. Nobody had handled me like that in years. While he cut my hair, Frank asked about school, laughed at my stupid jokes about teachers, and told me stories about when he was my age. When I left, he slapped my shoulder and said, "Take care of yourself, kid." Those 30 minutes felt like therapy I didn't know I needed. I started going back every 3 weeks, even when I didn't really need a haircut. Frank would remember what we talked about last time. He'd ask how that math test went or if I was still having trouble with my car. When I missed 2 appointments because I got the flu, he actually asked if everything was okay when I came back. That question hit me like a truck. Nobody at home had even noticed I was sick. Mom was working, Dad was doing whatever Dad did, and I'd been taking care of myself with soup cans and cold medicine. But Frank noticed I was gone. He expected me to be there. That's when I realized intimacy wasn't just about hugging or saying I love you. It was about someone giving a damn when you didn't show up. It was consistency. It was being seen. After that, I started noticing it everywhere. My history teacher who remembered my name after the first day of class. My boss at the grocery store who asked how my weekend was and actually listened to the answer. Friends who texted back right away instead of leaving me hanging for days. But the moment that really changed everything happened when I was 22. I broke my ankle playing basketball and lived alone in this crappy apartment. I figured I'd just deal with it myself, hop around on crutches and eat whatever I could microwave. The next morning, my neighbor knocked on my door. His name was Carlos, and we'd maybe said 5 words to each other in the 6 months I'd lived there. He was holding a casserole dish and a bag of ice. "Heard you took a fall yesterday," he said. "Thought you might need some help." He didn't just drop off food and leave. Carlos offered to take my trash down the stairs, bring my mail up, even drive me to doctor appointments. It wasn't romantic or flashy, but it was the most intimate thing anyone had ever done for me. Someone cared enough to make my life easier when I couldn't handle it myself. That experience flipped a switch in my brain. When my 8-year-old niece came to visit a few months later, I let her pick every movie we watched. I tucked her in with extra blankets and told her she was safe with me. I asked about her friends and remembered their names the next day. She hugged me so tight before she left and whispered, "You're the best uncle ever." I realized I'd been starving for that my whole life, and now I could give it to someone else.